Hey Verity, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation, the Empowered Conversation series for Women's Day, for International Women's Day, 8th of March 2017. Now, for those of you who are watching, this is Verity Nimmo Mansfield. Mansfield, sorry, did I say that right? Verity Mansfield.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, let's start over again. I don't know what I just did. Hi, Verity. Thank you so much for joining us for this series. For those who are watching, this is Verity Mansfield. She is a transformational life coach and energy healer. She's the founder of A Beautiful Truth and is on a mission to inspire women to understand the truth about beauty. Like her name says, her name just says it all, Verity, helping women understand the truth, own their own truth, and own their own beauty. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Verity.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Okay. So, Verity, before we get into the work that you do today and the message you have, I understand that you used to be in the fashion industry for quite a while, which is a complete contrast from the
Yes, it was something a bit like Out of Devil Wears Prada. So it is an absolute complete contrast. But there were a lot of learning lessons, and I wouldn't be where I am today without having learned those lessons. So, yeah.
Could you share with us a bit about how you transitioned from being in the fashion industry to the completely opposite message today of helping women feel comfortable in their own skin, in their own power, so to speak?
So originally what I really wanted to do, I still wanted to make women feel beautiful. So I decided to go into fashion design to physically do that, to physically make them beautiful and feel beautiful. And it was an absolutely amazing experience. And at one part I had my own label, and another part I worked for an international company. And it was through those experiences of realizing that you can make someone feel beautiful for as long as they wore that dress. So they could be beautiful for that night or for those 3 hours. But when that dress came off, then they were just back to what they were before. The transformation was so temporary, and it didn't really transform anything on the inside. I kind of feel, if anything else, it almost made them dependent upon external influences of having to be beautiful on the outside in order to feel beautiful on the inside, of having to be appreciated and validated by men for being a pretty object rather than, being beautiful because they knew who they were, and they valued themselves based on the inside of who they were and what they believed about themselves. There was one memory that really sticks in my mind of we'd done these major photo shoots in Australia, and we were using the top models that we could find and top makeup artists that we could find in Australia. And a lot of these models we used went on to win Miss Universe Australia. So it was big stuff. And we would sit in the, with the marketing team, and we'd be proofing all the photos from the photo shoots. And the conversation was always the same. The conversation was always, she's not pretty enough, she's not tall enough, her hair's the wrong colour. Can we shape out more of her waist? Can we cut some of her backside off? How can we make her long? Can we stretch her out a bit more? Her hands look blue. And it's these models in the middle of winter, we're standing on these beaches in the freezing cold. Like, no wonder their hands were blue. Like, the blood wasn't circulating in their bodies. And yet we were in these rooms judging them and literally slicing and dicing them, via Photoshop and everything else, to make them better, to fix them, to make them prettier, to make them slimmer, to make them taller. And these were Miss Universe models. And I found that really sad. That really hit home for me, that this was not a healthy industry, that we're selling something that not even a model can achieve
without
her own health.
Sometimes I don't know if it's the cosmetics industry that's to blame, or if it's the media, or if it's single-handedly Photoshop. I think Adobe started all of this by by creating Photoshop and letting you change images like that.
Oh, I think, you know, I think a lot of it stems back to Hollywood in the 1930s where, you know, Hollywood was created by the fashion industry. Maya Goldwyn, all of those names, those big names from the film industry from Hollywood, they were all fashion merchants. They were all door-to-door salesmen that sold shoes door-to-door, and they needed to find a way to sell. So they literally created Hollywood to sell. So they created the movies. They had these glamour, you know, the glamour 1930s shots that we had then. And then they created these massive supermarkets. So you'd go to escape to the movies, you'd see these amazing glamour women, and then you could literally go to the store and buy the outfit from the movie, you know, with the Letty Layton sleeves. And that is how that's how Hollywood started and how the fashion industry started and how department stores started.
I don't know that, but you know, it's like pieces of the puzzle falling together. Yes, now it all makes sense. I mean, the whole beauty industry that we have today is only a hype created by media. And today it's not just Hollywood, it is advertisers of all sorts.
And one of the other biggest things that people won't know, fashion history is amazing. It reflects so much of what goes on in our society. Everyone knows about Dior in the 1940s in the new look, which was the pinched-in waist and these massive skirts. And as we were coming out of World War II, women had gone into the factories and taken over a lot of the jobs that men had. Then men were coming back from the war and there were no jobs for them. Christian Dior himself came out and he said he created a new look to make it impossible for women to function in the workplace. And he created the new look to get them out of the office and back into the kitchen, which is the only reason that Coco Chanel, in all of her glory, came out of exile to say, hell no. And then she created what we all know now as the Chanel suit, the typical, the most classic, iconic workwear for women, of the little, the little matching jackets and skirt. She came out with that as a response to the new look, to get women, to keep women in a functional outfit in the workplace.
You know what?
It's amazing.
I've always had my doubts. I've always wondered, even as a little girl, why girls' clothing or women's clothing did not have pockets. It is impossible to buy, any kind of women's clothing with pockets. Hey,
if we had pockets, we wouldn't need to buy handbags.
Exactly. I hate having to carry a handbag. And even a modern day woman, when she steps out of the house, she needs to carry her phone, she needs to carry a wallet, she needs to carry a pair of keys at the minimum, right? Men have pockets to carry that stuff. Why don't women? I was shocked. Even as a kid, I knew it was a conspiracy. Now I'm convinced. And women's
wallets, or men have wallets which are flat, and women have purses which allow for stuff, for lipsticks and coins. Men don't carry coins around, women do. Yeah. But, we're kind of made to need these items.
I made to need those items. I no longer carry that stuff. I've made a really, really thin handbag. Not really a handbag, I don't know what to call it. Something that carries just my wallet and my phone. But yes, that aside. And shoes. I do not understand. I know we are going off track, but I had to share this with someone. Why are women's shoes so stupid? There is no support.
The interesting thing in America. The interesting thing in America is they can legally force women to wear high heels.
They can't legally force, but I've seen girls as young as 8 and 10 wear high heels. And I don't like wearing heels. I've hardly ever worn them. I bought a couple of pairs, but never wore them. And if I go looking for a pair of shoes that feels good and looks good, it's impossible. They're very, very thin. The sole is so thin that if you were to walk on a stick, anything harder than a blade of grass, it would pierce through the sole. I don't know why. So ridiculous. But yes. That's how
Yeah,
fashion
so
has conditioned us.
there's a lot of manipulation through fashion and through the beauty industry. Especially, I guess, with the beauty industry, it's all based on not pretty enough, you know, of getting rid of your wrinkles, of getting rid of your cellulite, of getting rid of the crow's feet, of, you know, fillers, of now you can inject yourself with all sorts of plastics in order to look pretty. For one of the biggest things that happened when I worked in fashion was we had to go and redraft all of our patterns for our dresses, because when we broke into the American market, the American girls had a bigger bust than the Australian female market. It wasn't natural. It was because cosmetic surgery, boob jobs was massive. It's rife in America. We literally had to change all of our patterns in our factories to accommodate boob jobs in America. And to me, that's appalling. To me, that was really sad. I just kind of thought, oh my God, like, this is crazy. So it really shows you the differences in different cultures and, you know, different standards of beauty, and how the fashion industry and the beauty industry have worked to manipulate those ideas, but then they've also had to, I guess, be manipulated as well by the trends that have gone on.
Yes.
But I hated it. There was something about it. It wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. It was awful to see women and to be a part of a group of women that the minute you walked through the office door, you were looked up and down to see whether or not you were dressed well enough to work in such a place. And then when we used to go out, we had a boss who was male, and he loved it because he was surrounded by all these gorgeous women, and there was just something that was just a bit off about it. It wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. We weren't serving a great purpose to the world. And for me, that wasn't enough. There had to be something more. This couldn't just be it for me. There was so much more to give to women than just to look pretty for 3 hours.
And that too by completely covering yourself up in some pancake makeup or all the other paraphernalia, right? And now, I didn't know that part of your history, but now I see how it fits in and how it leads up to how it built up over the years to the work that you do today, right?
Yeah.
Women own their truth and see their own beauty.
Yeah, and I want women to know that the power is within them. It's not on the outside. You know, like, I mean, I love my red lipstick and I keep it pretty close by.
I have to search for mine.
But this doesn't give me superpowers. And I think that's the real important part about beauty. Beauty is something that we cultivate within ourselves, and it's something that we should use to express ourselves, and something that we can be creative with. It's a creative expression of who we already are on the inside. It's something that we can have fun with, but it's not something that we should measure our self-worth by.
Yes.
And I think that is really important for women to understand, and also to teach their daughters. You know, their daughters are going to become the future women of today. So we need to start being the role models that our daughters need. Absolutely. You know, so that we can, and to be the change that this world needs.
Absolutely. And I think not just our daughters, but our sons as well. I don't have a daughter.
And we need to,
you know,
and I think that's the biggest thing with women is women have always wanted permission from men to be worthy. And I think women need to give themselves permission and then teach men that they're already worthy.
Yes, absolutely. We need to, you know, as women, I so hear you when you say we ask for permission. We don't even ask for permission. We silently accept it. We silently seek it. And it doesn't come from outside. No one is going to give you that permission to stand up into your own power, because it threatens.
No one can give you that permission. That's permission you give yourself.
Yes. Beautiful. And you know what? Now I see, I think you've just said it all. I'm wondering what else to ask you. But No, seriously, I mean, you have said it all. It's not about the outer world, it's not about external beauty. And I see how beautifully that flows into the energy work and the transformational coaching you do. It's so powerful. But
I do find a lot of women ask me, if you don't look beautiful, how do you feel beautiful if you don't look beautiful? And I always think that's a really important question. And I think it's one of those things where, it's like the be, do, have principle. When you start being your beautiful self, you'll start doing beautiful things, and then you have beauty in your life. And I think it's one of those things where women need to know what their truths are within themselves and what they actually authentically value in their own immediate lives. They need to be able to see the gift that they are to the world. So many of us walk around wanting something from the world and wanting the world to give us something back. We think the world owes us for all of our troubles and trials and tribulations that we all have. When's it my turn? When do I get a break? And the truth is that we are the gift to the world. The power is within us to make the changes. And that is, when we get that by knowing what our truths are, by honoring those truths, by dropping the good girl rules of trying to please everybody else and sacrifice, our own souls to make other people happy, and following our truths and living them, of seeing the beauty that's within us. And I think as, divine feminine beings, we have this amazing array of beauty and these tools and these resources within us. We have this incredible intuition that we can all tap into, our own compass that guides us, which is a massive part of owning our truths as well. We have this beautiful nature of being compassionate and gentle, and giving to other people. You imagine if everyone was able to tap into that compassion, we wouldn't have wars.
exactly.
There'd be no battles before. These conflicts we'd be able to see each other's point of view, and we'd be able to find win-win situations for everyone. Women are powerful creatures, and we have this amazing ability to create in the world. We create safe spaces for our family. We create love for our lovers. We create affection for our children. And there's women out there creating big things. There's women out there creating, cures for cancer. Everyone is creative. And for women, this flow of just being in touch with their truth and being in touch of the gifts within all of us, being in touch with our beautiful feminine qualities of love and compassion and forgiveness. We're so powerful, and we don't even realize it.
Yes.
And I think, God, how much more beautiful can you possibly be?
And that's why it's important for us to have these conversations. That's exactly why I'm running this series.
Yeah.
We get so conditioned to what society tells us about who we are, who we should be, right? And
yes, who should be.
Women, especially so as women. Men also get that kind of conditioning, but theirs is different. It bestows them certain powers. And women, it takes away those powers from. You're not supposed to have a choice. You're not supposed to have a preference. You're not supposed to have any ideas of your own. You're supposed to follow. You're supposed to give. You're supposed to do for others, right?
You're meant to sacrifice for others. You're not meant to talk, good things about yourself, because that would be up yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owning
You'd be
your
selfish.
own power? Owning your own power? Oh my God, that's so selfish. How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you want something for yourself? Goodness. And I think especially as girls, and I have 2 little girls, so it's been amazing watching this journey, and especially as a single mother watching these 2 girls growing up. I've seen them battle the good girl rules already, where they're conditioned and told, don't do that, leave that for the boys, they're stronger. Where they're expected to look pretty and not ruin their dresses, where boys can go jump in the mud and get dirty because, oh, well, they're boys. That's what we expect of them.
Yeah. My son loves the mud, but I still struggle with that every single day, trying to get it.
My girls they found mud yesterday and they were smearing it on their faces.
My son would love that. We should meet up. We need to meet up someday in real life. But you know what, Verity? I've known you for, I don't know what, about a year or so now.
Yeah.
What I really, really love is you're so passionate about the work that you do, about helping empower other women. And having known you, having known your story, I know the kind of shit that you've been through and the struggle it takes to be a single mom in the world today. I mean, 50 years ago, women didn't need to do the kind of work that we do. Being the breadwinner, running a house, being a good parent, having the spotlight on you. You know, being a mom is like having a big shiny beam on you all the time. You're in the spotlight all the time, and everyone thinks it's their birthright to judge you and tell you what to do. I don't know if it's like
Oh,
that
yeah.
in Australia, but in India, it definitely is. As soon as the belly bump shows up, everyone starts giving you advice.
Everyone starts giving you advice. Oh my God.
It never stops, even when the kids go off to college. People think it's their
Well,
right.
just the other week, I had my daughters were in year 2 and in year 5. And actually, it was last year, so at the end of last year. And so my daughter's in year 1, and her teacher was like, "Can you please get your children to school on time?" We're never late. We always make it before the late bell, but they like to start class 20 minutes before the late bell. And I said to her, she cornered me and she said, "Do you think you can get your children to school on time?" And I said, "No." And she said, "I beg your pardon." She was absolutely horrified. She was one of these like old school teachers, you know, where very stern and everyone does what she tells them to do. And I just said to her, "No, I don't think I can." And she just said, "I beg your pardon." And she wasn't asking me as much as telling me to get into school earlier. And I said, "No, I don't think I can." And I just started walking off and left her in shock. And I kind of knew there's this awkwardness and this shock horror of my attitude. Because in my head, I'm going, my God, like, I am such a great mum. I do so much for my children. And if my kids get to school just before the late bell, it is so not a massive issue. Like, oh my goodness, why are you judging me for this? And so I just turned around and I yelled out, "But my kids eat sushi." And got in my car and I was like, "I'm good with that."
You know what? I know the kind of guts it takes to say that and to do that to your kid's school teacher.
And to be honest about it, no, it's not going to happen.
Yes, I hear you. Amazing. How about you talk? We've talked about the concept of beauty. We've talked about the kind of issues modern women face. But one of the terms that you use a lot is modern day goddess. You want to talk a bit about what that is about? Because, you know, over the internet, there seems to be a resurrection of goddess. You know, I suddenly see goddess retreats and goddess this and goddess that pop up on my feed. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I think there's, you know, as women are returning back to their power and stuff, this resurrection of the goddess is really beautiful. But for me, when I see it, there's so much about, you know, juice cleansing and eating raw food and meditating for hours on end and, you know, running away to Bali for a year. And it sounds amazing, but it's not accessible for everyone. Exactly. And do you know what? There are women that work in the corporate role and they have amazing roles and they can bring their femininity into that and make beautiful changes in those areas. And I think for me, the modern day goddess is about how we can live in the modern day world. I mean, we can't run away from it. We're in it. How do we live in the modern day world? How do we keep up with this fast-paced lifestyle that happens? You know, like our children, you know, they need to be educated. Our children need to be fed properly. We have responsibilities there to keep our children safe and, you know, keep roofs and mortgages over their heads. You know, there's the pressures, not the pressures, but, you know, you want them to do amazing things. Like my daughters do surfing lessons and they also do go to circus classes. So how do we keep all of this stuff going and yet still honor the goddess within? How do we honor our truths? How do we stay connected to ourselves? How do we stay grounded? You know, how do we stay centered? How do we stay focused to our truths and our own authenticity? How do we stay resilient to all the mass marketing and the global marketing and the social media that goes on there that puts all of this pressure on us to be perfect, to have it all, to be it all? and I think for me, that's really about the term of the modern day goddess, is it's about learning how to embrace those goddess aspects that are within us, our truth, our beauty, our intuition, and be able to balance that with living in this modern day world. And, I know that I joke about, soaking in a bath made of rose quartz elixirs, yet sipping champagne. But that's the beautiful thing. Like, I love my girls' nights out with my friends. I love getting dressed up, and I love putting my red lipstick on. But you know what? The funny thing, my red lipstick is next to some of my essential oils and a whole bowl, full of crystals. It's about mixing it all up together.
Love that.
They don't have to be separate concepts of the modern day life and the goddess. The goddess is ancient, and modern day life is here and now. So how do we bring our inner goddess out into the modern day?
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
And that's what I love.
I believe you're running a couple of programs around this, right? Helping women embrace their modern day goddess, stay grounded while doing all of that crazy juggle that the modern world requires to. And if I'm not mistaken, you have that workshop running in Perth later this month. This month, right? March?
Yeah, March the 26th.
Can you talk about that a bit? The mother-daughter workshop.
Yeah, the mother-daughter workshop I really love. And
I see how your face lights up immediately.
The mother and daughter workshop is really about creating a space where women can step up for their daughters and kind of pave the way for them. And it's about teaching our daughters to be resilient and to be confident and to base this idea of beauty on something that's within themselves instead of looking out in the world for it. Our daughters are so young, and they're so, what's that word? They're so, they really are impressionable of what's out there, and they're taking note of things. And, my daughters were watching on TV and suddenly start talking an American accent. And I'm like, well, hang on. They pick things up so easily. And my daughters went to, one of them last year, she, experienced a mild version of, I guess, sexual assault, where, two boys were poking her in the bottom, and she told them off, and yet the teacher told Olivia off for disrupting the entire class. And I was absolutely furious. So already, the word girl is still used in primary school playgrounds as a derogatory term. You run like a girl, you throw like a girl, you're such a girl, you cry like a girl. There's nothing wrong with being a girl. So I think being able to create these beautiful, safe places, and, it's about bonding as well with your daughter. So we make a range of, homemade skincare products, and they're fun things like, bath salts or face scrubs. The mums can make, facial serums for their faces. So we can give back and honor and nurture these bodies as something that do so much for us, especially as women. And then targeting, I guess, the things that do come up around body image for girls, especially as their bodies are changing and entering puberty and going into young adulthood. So it's creating this safe space for them. It's about helping them to bond and have these difficult conversations so that, they can go home and continue these conversations at home. It's about creating resilience for these girls and confidence in their own internal beauty or sense of beauty, that it's something that they can create for themselves. That it's about their inner gifts. It's about changing the whole concept of beauty for them before they become adults, so that they grow up knowing this stuff instead of I work a lot with adult women, and we kind of have to undo the damage that's been done. So I love these workshops because it creates a basis where we're not undoing the damage, we're creating a beautiful platform for these young women.
We're preventing the damage from happening. Prevention is better than cure any day.
Prevention is way better, yeah.
Lovely, amazing, Verity. As we wrap this up, before we wrap this up, can you tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you or to reach out to you?
You can access me on Facebook. If you, A Beautiful Truth is on Facebook. Instagram, A Beautiful Truth is on Instagram. And there's my website, which is www.veritymansfield.com. So
Perfect.
very
I'll pop
easy to
those
remember.
links. Yes, I will pop those links below. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Verity. Thank you so much. I so thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. You know, it's one of those where I didn't have to ask questions. I didn't have to. You are so passionate about this. You know, it just comes through. The conversation was just so organic and it just came through. You were. I hope the women watching this walk away with a better sense of beauty, feeling for themselves instead of falling for advertisements and media and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah,
the
we can
power is
create
all within.
generations of women that view their own inner beauty. Oh, like what a beautiful world we'd have, right?
Absolutely. I'm so looking forward to that day. Thank you for joining us, Verity. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye bye.
Bye.